Welcome to the Nurse Shark Academy Show, a Baxter Professional Services production. Welcome to the Nurse Shark Academy Show. I'm Tina Baxter, your host. The Nurse Shark Academy Show, where we're experts in nursing and experts in business. The Nurse Shark Academy Show highlights nurse business owners and others in the healthcare field who promote entrepreneurship. We interview nurse leaders and encourage them to tell their story. Today's guest is Gezrine Duncan. And our episode is How One Nurse Found Her Groove in Network Marketing as a Second Career. Attention nurses, looking to take your nursing knowledge and turn it into a viable business? Ready to take action, but don't know where to start? Join the Nurse Shark Academy. We support nurses as business owners and leaders. We offer career and entrepreneurial coaching for nurses or other healthcare professionals. Whether you're a brand new nurse, a seasoned health professional, or building a startup, join a community of support. Entrepreneurship can be lonely, but it doesn't have to be. Our career and business coaching services are designed to help you achieve a life-work balance you desire. Our experienced coaches will help you identify and attain your career and business goals, enabling you to become more successful in both your personal and professional life. I'm Tina Baxter. I founded the Nurse Shark Academy because I believe every nurse is a hero on his or her own epic journey. Nurses are launching new businesses every day. You don't have to do it alone. Join the Nurse Shark Academy and get the support, training, and coaching that you need to launch your successful nurse business. Become a member at the nursesharkacademy.biz.
And you want to know why I became a nurse? See, growing up,
Hi, and welcome to the Nurse Shark Academy Show. I'm Tina Baxter, and I'm your host. The Nurse Shark Academy Show highlights nurse business owners and others in the healthcare field who promote entrepreneurship. We interview nurse leaders and encourage them to tell their story. Today's guest is Gezrine Duncan, and Gezrine is a former nurse midwife and critical care registered nurse who's currently working with a company called PPLSI or LegalShield. Welcome to the show, Gezrine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. And yes, and I can say, you mentioned, my name is Gezrine Duncan. And growing up, I have always wanted to be a nurse. But however, after graduation, I did not go into nursing. I started doing some teaching. But that was not my calling. You really have to have a passion for what you want to do in life. And I've always wanted to be nursing. And they could say nothing about nursing to persuade me to change. And I went into nursing, and I've enjoyed it. I have been a nurse and a midwife, delivered so many babies. And then I decided I was going to, when I was in Jamaica, and then when I came to the US, I said I wasn't going to pursue midwifery. And I went into critical care nursing, and I enjoyed my journey. But after being there for, I was getting my age. I wanted to move on and do something, helping individuals, not physically, but I could help them get rid of stress, and mentally, I could help them also. And that's why I switched to doing, someone shared some information with me.
Well, hold on before we get to that part of your story, because I want to unpack some of the other things, because you mentioned that you started out in education. Were you teaching as a teacher in like secondary school, or?
Yes, I was. Because I did not go after graduation. You have to go do nursing school and all of that. But I was able to do some teaching in elementary before going on to pursue nursing. And that was you have to really have a passion to doing, teaching.
Yes,
Teaching is not an easy job. I think the teachers should be paid more because it's a tough job.
I
You
agree.
know, yes, you are there trying to teach something, and when you look behind, they're not paying any attention. They are doing something else. And the reason that pushed me out of teaching, the class that I was teaching, I had a family member in there.
Hmm.
I had a niece in there, and she was one of the pupils that was not paying attention. And so we could do corporal punishment back there in Jamaica. Then
Yes.
it didn't work. And I said, mm-mm. She let me change my mind. I would not do it. I could not leave right away, but I made a conscious decision that teaching is not my calling.
Okay. So how did you decide upon nursing and get into nursing school?
I had you put the application was in, but it was not my time to, to be accepted. And when I got accepted, it was a happy, happy time in my life.
So where did you go to school out of curiosity?
In Jamaica,
Where in Jamaica?
Kingston,
Okay. Okay.
Kingston, Jamaica.
And so
Yes.
were and you went into the RN program, a baccalaureate program, or
Yes, I went into the RN program first, and they always encourage you to be a midwife also. So after working as a registered nurse for a while, I decided I want to go into that field also where I could do deliver babies. And so that is what I did. I enjoyed doing it until I left Jamaica and came to the US. And I decided I wasn't going into that field anymore because in US, it's so much different from the way we do everything
yes.
there. But here is a little different where the doctors do the delivery and all of that.
Hmm.
Home delivery, it was us. In the hospital, it was us. So
Okay. And so you transitioned then from midwifery to critical care. What was that transition like when you came to the US?
it was, of course, we have more equipment because the equipment that we have in Jamaica couldn't compare to what we have here in the US. So it it took me a while, to because we have to be able to read the cardiac monitors, and we do more drugs and all of that. And so after a while, I was good.
Because it's important to talk about because we do have nurses from other countries that are listening to this podcast, and so that transition from moving to one um, country to another can be different in nursing. I talked to a nurse in Canada, and we were talking about the differences in our healthcare systems and ways of accessing things. And then I just talked to a nurse in the UK, and how that healthcare system is different. So it's kind of important to talk about those things if you're a nurse that's listening in another country and you're thinking about coming to the US to become a nurse, what that transition was like.
Because as a nurse in Jamaica, you were, as a student nurse, you were managing a unit. So we had a lot of hands on.
Hmm.
I was doing suturing. I witnessed, kids. they're having sports
Mm-hmm.
and they are out playing and it's lightning and thundering. And I witnessed a kid that was struck by lightning. He came and he put him on the table. He was out, he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Suturing with the gunshot wounds and the suturing, they come in. We don't wait on doctors to do any suturing. We did that suturing. We were doing more hands-on as a nurse in Jamaica.
And
So
see,
when we came here, it was easy for us to handle. We can the nurses, um, some patients they're asking if they know where we're from. They were asking for us, and we do things a little different. We
yeah.
care about our people.
Mhm. I think there are some differences in scope and what you can do in your practice in different places.
Yes,
Um, and I think we all should learn from the different ways that people do things. I'm a big proponent of learning from other cultures and how they handle certain situations. Um, and then sometimes, some of our military nurses, you're in a situation where there is no doctor and you are the
you
doctor.
better,
You just got to do what you got to
better.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember when in midwifery, we had a mother that was in labor in her home, and we had the ambulance took us to the home. And when I went to do the delivery, I discovered that I was having a breech,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
So that was a very difficult delivery. And the midwife that came with us, she was going to do another delivery in another home. And we don't have any telephone and all that stuff. I delivered that baby. The feet, the breech, the
Hmm.
feet, and when the midwife came with the ambulance, I mean, I had to be doing CPR on that baby because it started having respiratory distress.
Hmm.
I tell you, when you have a patient like that, although the baby was just delivered, we have to
Hmm.
do CPR, wipe that thing off, and mm, 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 mm. I can still remember, rush them emergency. They put the emergency on and took the baby to the hospital. The mother lived and the baby, they survived.
Well, I want to say great job. Now, see, midwifery was not my area, especially my area, especially is older adults, and so I always tell my midwife friends, "God bless you."
Ah, a breech delivery is a tough, tough thing.
Hmm.
But if it comes that way, you have to, and you don't want it to die on you, right?
No,
You're going to do
no,
all you can.
yes, yes. Well, I'm glad. I'm pretty sure that mother was glad that you were there. So, what made you come to the U.S.?
Everybody wanted to just and to have another more experience, because you want change. And I had and they were recruiting nurses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we learn about it is so much better in the US, and you could do much more. And so I wanted the change. And so when you leave the US, you leave your country and come here, you have to pass the state board and
Mhm.
everything.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
so working and studying and working and studying, but you do what you have to do because it's you have to be intentional.
Yes.
And the weather and everything, because I was in Philadelphia, that it take
That was a
getting
rude shock, wasn't it?
it take getting used to. You
Hmm.
know what I used to do the first time I went to work? Not used to the climate. It was warm when I went, so I forgot my jacket.
Ah.
And so I wasn't driving at first. I used to take the bus. And when I was leaving, it was the night shift. And when I was leaving in the morning, the temperature dropped and I didn't have a jacket on but my uniform jacket. And folks were looking on me like I was crazy. Oh, that is something that, oh, it's an experience.
Yep. Yep.
So
You
you
know,
were a nurse too?
yes, I am a nurse practitioner,
Yeah.
um, and um, legal nurse consultant and business coach. So yeah, I help nurses build and launch their own businesses as part of the Nurse Shark Academy, and enjoy what I do
Hmm.
and helping others achieve their dream.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love nursing. Love nursing.
Yep. And
It's
so, where when
mhm.
you transitioned, how did you make that decision to go from working as a nurse then to an entrepreneur?
See, I was planning on retiring. And so what forced me into retirement, COVID 2020, I came up to I'm in Orlando. I told them that I wasn't going to be doing nursing for much longer. I was going on vacation. And when I came on vacation, people were having COVID, didn't have a name yet.
Hmm.
People were just getting sick and they didn't have it. So, and when I came, I felt like I saw nurses, they are begging everyone to take the vaccine. I see nurses crying. I see doctors crying. And because I know what it is like working short and see patients dying, because you don't want a patient to die on you. Because one, I don't like wrapping anybody.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take good care of my patient. And when I see nurses crying, doctors are out there, they're begging folks, stay home, take the vaccine. That was so heartbreaking for me. And they were asking for retirees to come in, but I didn't feel like I could go back to the bedside anymore. And nursing is, I don't know, I still talk. I have a lot of friends that are still nurses, and I talk to them from time to time, and it's still hard.
It is. I've seen the stories about the short staffing and witnessed it firsthand with my husband who had been in the hospital, and so it is. But I also know that there's a way out of this, and we're beginning to see the movement of the government and labor and hospitals are finally beginning to see, hey, wait a minute, maybe we should do something about that, because what we found is that we're all in the same boat: physicians, nurses, RT, diet to everybody in the healthcare system. We're all in the same boat. Pharmacists
Mm-hmm.
are so overwhelmed right now that two of the major
Mm-hmm.
chains have went on strike a couple times. So we've seen that. And I think that we're finally waking up to the current model that we have in our healthcare system is not sustainable.
Right. It is because when before I quit and I'm in the unit and I have three patients on vent and I have two crashing and there is another nurse with a patient crashing, and how can you function? Because the doctor is calling, this one is crashing, this one is crashing. I said, doctor, which one do you want me to work with first? Because it would be three of you in the unit and three of you have three patients. It was bad.
Hmm.
How can you function? Mm-mm.
Yeah. And it was a very tenuous situation um, for nurses. And as a legal nurse consultant, I see what happens when you don't have enough staff and things get missed and things,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that happens. And we have to look at not just the individual provider practice, we have to look at the system and what caused some of these things that happen. What happened with Redonda Vault, even though I understand that she made some errors, a lot of errors in that, but I think the system set her up for failure. And if we don't make those systemic changes, we're going to have the same things over and over again. So we can put the band aid on and say, well, you just get a wellness program and that should help you burn out. Or we can really look at how we structure things so that people can have a better life, work life balance, and have enough bodies, people there to take
Staff.
care of the
Yes.
patients. You
Yes.
need the
Yes.
staff. And
Yes.
it's from acute care, long term care, all
Mm-hmm.
these different places. I had a conversation with someone who has two special needs children. She needs a pediatric nurse, but she needs two of them because each child has to have their own nurse.
Yes.
There aren't enough pediatric nurses to go around for her to have that respite care that she desperately needs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's too much. It's too much. They need better staffing.
Hmm.
Better staffing would ease the burden and let nurses stay doing nursing because it's getting harder and harder and people are quitting.
Yes,
So, yeah, but we
yeah,
still need people at the bedside.
that is so true. We really do. And the sad thing is, and this was reported on our other show. So, if those of you who are listening, if you haven't checked out the Nursing News You Can Use show on our YouTube channel, check out that on our YouTube channel as well. But um, the nursing students now that are going into school, a lot of them are going with the idea of getting away from the bedside as soon as possible. We
Mm-hmm.
want to make sure that they're there just for the shortest amount of time, if at all.
6 months.
Yep, and move on. I've got
Mm-hmm.
nurses that are brand new that want to be travel nurses.
Yes.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. But you have nurses want to do travel nursing and they want to go into unit, but they don't have enough experience.
Exactly, exactly. And so that's a problem, and that's what we're seeing is that the way we're doing things is not sustainable. So you retired and decided to go into another business. You want to tell us a little bit about the business?
Yes. There was a colleague was working in a facility where she had it's a correction facility where when she went to give this person his medication, one medication that was not available at that facility was on order, and it had not come in. So when she went to give him his medication, and he noticed that the medication was missing, he was carrying on so bad, and he told her he's going to call his attorney and he's going to sue her.
Hmm.
And I said, "What?" I said, "He has an attorney that he can call like that?" And here I am. I said, "He's behind bars and he can call attorney. And I don't have an attorney that I can call like that." And so I was sharing this with my brother, and I said, "Do you have a nurse? Have an attorney?" And he said, "Yes, I do." And I
Hmm.
said, "How much per hour?" He said 240 per hour. And I said, "Oh, I don't need an attorney like that." And so I kept on doing my nursing thing, and um but somebody from another state, I was sharing it with them, and they said to me, "Did you know that you can have an attorney and you don't pay an arm and a leg?" And I said, "Really?" And they shared the information with me. It makes sense, and I got it. And I said, it's better to have it and don't need it than to need it and don't have it. So I got it just to support the individual. And guess what? A few months down the road, I became a victim of identity theft. They monitor your credit every month. And I get this email from the law firm. There has been no irregularities on your credit. Everything is good. So this continued for months. So this month I was going on vacation. And when that alert came in, I ignored it. And I said, "It's good. It has already been good." And I went on my vacation. And after I came back, 2 weeks, I started reading my email and I saw, "Congratulations, Miss Duncan. The credit cards you applied for was successfully delivered." I did not apply for a card, but because I was gone, the thieves had enough time to activate the cards and they went shopping.
Hmm.
On one of the cards, they bought a car for 58,000 plus dollars. And so I called the law firm and they told me, not to worry. They say, "You have the protection." They said, "What we do, we're going to send you," no, they have three credit bureaus. They said, "We're going to send you a report of those three bureaus and just check and see what you recognize on it, on the reports, and send it back to us and we'll take care of it." And that is what I do. It was, and they gave me a private investigator and an attorney, and so they went to work and they cleared up all of the irregularities. And I got a letter in a not long, saying that my credit, I had total restoration. Everything was cleared up. And guess what? I did not have to pay a dime out of my pocket. And I,
I know. I'm a firm believer. Similar situation with COVID. Everybody was getting those PPP loans,
yes,
and someone tried to get one in our business name using my husband's name and our home address.
okay,
And we got an alert on our app, our ID Shield app,
yes,
and it, the day that we got on the 13th, we looked at it. My husband said, "Did you apply for a loan?" I said, "No, I didn't." We called them, found out that someone had applied on the 12th. We immediately notified. We were able to get that stop, and I still have in my desk drawer a copy of the letter of them going through and making sure we got back to pre-breach status. I keep that as evidence that no, we didn't apply for that loan, but also as a proof to other people when I tell them about the services as well.
yeah,
So I have been a big believer in the service myself as well. And I actually was introduced to the service as an employee benefit when I worked for
Oh yeah,
St.
yeah,
John's at that time. It was an employee benefit. And so we
yeah,
were able to get a plan that way.
yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that you can get access to the plan.
Mhm.
And so, what made you go from being a customer then to a direct sales marketer?
Oh, because I I learned that in offering the service, I can get paid doing so.
Hmm.
And so I went to a few meetings, listened to a few presentations, and you testimonies after testimonies, and you hear folks talk about how they've been treated unfairly, and identity theft went up 400% since COVID, you know.
Yes.
Yes. And so I learned that I can share the information, help folks, and get paid. And so I started doing it. One nurse, I helped him. He came to me and he said, somebody is just a hearsay thing, and got him fired. And so he came and he told me about it. And he said, you still doing that legal thing? I said, yes. And I gave him, did the application, submitted the application in, and forget about it because there's so many people I was taking care of. So one day, I somebody on the elevator came and hugged me and said, Miss Duncan, I got my job back. I didn't even remember him. He said, I got my job back. He said, you remember? And he started to tell me. And I said, oh, yes, oh, yes. He said, in 7 days, I got my job back because, that was unfair treatment. And so that's the power of the service. And so I'm not helping folks physically, but I give them peace of mind when they can. So many stories after stories. Oh, one lady, I got a phone call one day, and this lady was crying, crying, crying. I listened, and then I asked her what was going on. And she said, are you an attorney? I said, no. She said, I found your card in my brother's car, and he was in a motor vehicle accident and he died. I wanted to know if he had a will. I would know. But then I, after talking to her, I said, do you have one? And she said, no. And I said, she need to get the protection in order to call the law firm to talk about her brother. And she got the membership and was able to talk to the law firm about her brother. And a few weeks later, she called me back and she was telling me how happy she was with the service because she got taken care of, and he had assets and he had minor kids. And so she was so happy.
Well, those are great and wonderful stories of people who have used the services that you have, right?
Mhm.
And then have benefited from them. But because we're a show about entrepreneurship, I want to try to talk to the nurses about that because there are nurses that are out there that are thinking about going with a direct sales company, whether it's PPLSI or LegalShield, like we are, or doTERRA, or some of the others that are out there. What was that like for you to go into business? Because that's different from being a nurse, right? You're
Oh,
working for an
sure.
employer, but now you're an independent business owner. What was that transition like for you?
See, the thing with the company and a good support system, when you sign up, they don't just sign you up and leave you out because you have to learn about the products that you're offering to to the families. And you have to be a careful listener. Listen to their stories, and then you can pick the pain point and see they're trying to tell you something so you can help them there, solve the problem that they have.
So, again, I want to say that because I think that's important for people to hear. It doesn't matter what business you're going into, you have to listen to your customer, that person in
Listen.
front of you, so that you can be the answer to their problem.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Don't be talking, talking, talking. You don't know what problem I'm having. I might be trying to, and they might have some issue going and they don't want to tell you. But when you listen and you can ask them questions, respond to some of what they're saying, and you can draw that out of them. Just
Yes.
like mental health,
Yes. Yes. Just like mental health. Yeah.
you know, folks can cover it up
Hmm.
big time. But if you listen, you can pick up something.
And these are skills that we already have as nurses, right? Because we do that every day with our patients. We listen to what they tell us, but we're also listening for what they're not telling us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
you can pick up those issues. Well, you're saying that you want to quit smoking, but yet I see that you're going out and buying a carton of cigarettes every week.
Mm-hmm.
How is that helping your plan? That's that whole um, way we talk with people, and that motivational interviewing is what they call it. And so these are skills that you already have as a nurse that you can apply to a different business. One of the great things about direct sell companies is that a lot of times they have a robust training program so that you don't feel like you have to go out there and reinvent the wheel. They've already done a lot of the heavy lifting for
Exactly.
you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great training ground for those that are very new to doing any type of marketing or sales, because you have that already built in into the system and program.
Exactly. Exactly. And when you sign up, you have to go to training and you're assigned a mentor, and there is always someone you can call
Mhm.
and make a three-way call and let the experts do the talking for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say, in all fairness, and so full disclosure, on the show, I am also an associate. So just to let you know, I am an associate with PPLSI as well. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to hide that, because I'm not.
Right, right.
Um, I want you to know that I am, but one of the reasons why I am is because of what I've seen as a nurse practitioner when people don't have their wills done and they don't have that power of attorney, and the
Yes,
crashes
yes.
that can happen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I always thought to myself, when I was listening to Redonda Vault give her talk, I was in a conference and she was there giving her talk about how things went down with her. And if you don't know her story, look her up. It's a horrible story of what happened to this nurse.
Oh,
But my first thought as I was sitting there is like, why didn't you call your attorney? And I realized she didn't have
she
one.
didn't have it. Yeah. Mm.
And that would have been I'm like, if the FBI is talking to you, that's my first thought. That's why they tell you get an attorney. I don't care what division of the FBI they're from or whatever. If they're
Uh-uh.
talking to you and they're
Tap
from law
that app. You tap the app,
enforcement app.
and the attorney comes on the phone and take over.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm a big proponent of using direct sales. I think it works for some people. It's not for everyone, right? This type of business is not for everyone. It's like being a legal nurse consultant. It's not for everyone. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the beauty of this, is that as a nurse you get the power of choice. You can choose what type
Mm-hmm.
of business you
Mm-hmm.
want to have.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm glad that we had this chance to have this conversation. So my last question is going to be, If you had one piece of advice for a budding entrepreneur, what would it be?
You have to um, make sure that the company that you are going into is legit, because there are a lot of scammers out there
Yes.
and they are high tech.
Yes.
So be careful of companies that folks come to you and telling you about how you can make money quick. Don't believe in those get rich quick stuff. Check it out first. I um I I've been introduced to a whole lot of stuff, and folks come and they talk to me about it. And I said, I used to ask if the SEC knows about it, does
Mm-hmm.
the IRS know about it, and what you get for what they're asking you. It's just you're not getting anything. You are just putting a big bunch of money down, and what? Oh, you're going to get so much. So check it out first before you put your money down. You won't have regrets.
Definitely. And I'm going to say what we didn't get a chance to really talk about, but I wanted to make sure people knew that there are small business plans out there with this company as well. So, as business owners, and you want to have access to an attorney, this is a great service as well.
Yeah.
So, again, like I said, full disclosure, I want to make sure people know that no, and no, by the way, the company is not paying either of us to say any of this. They're
That's right.
not paying either. They are not sponsoring this podcast.
Nope.
So I want to make that very clear. They are not sponsoring the podcast. But if you should want to and you're listening, hey, I'll take it. But I do want to say that it's very important that nurses know that there are so many different avenues that they can go into entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
And you are so
Mhm.
right.
Mhm.
Do your due diligence. Make sure the company's been around for a while. This
Yeah.
company's been for 50 years. um, Make sure that you check them out in their reputation and
Yes.
that they actually deliver a product that works. And so I want to thank you for your time. We've had a great show today, and I'm looking forward to having more conversations and great conversations. And so you're going to offer to our listeners an opportunity for the members' perks. And so, what I'm going to say is just so that they will be able to get to you, because I'll put your contact information into the show notes, is that they'll mention that they talk to you, they'll email you, and they'll say, I heard about you in the Nurse Shark Academy show, so that they can get access to that. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Oh,
what I want to tell you also, we have to encourage folks to do their estate planning, do their will, because we are finding that a lot of folks ignoring that, getting to it when it's too late.
exactly. That's right. They're waiting too late,
Too late.
too late.
Mhm.
All right, so that ends our show. Thank you for tuning in to the Nurse Shark Academy show, where we're experts in nursing and experts in business. I want to thank everyone for watching us on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you get notified every time we have a new episode. Also,
Okay.
follow us on
Okay.
Podbean or wherever else you get your podcasts, and we'll be happy to see you. We're on Spotify and everywhere else. Love to
Okay.
have you. And thank you, Gerzine, for being here. Gerzine, thank you.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye for now. Nurses, are you burnt out, frustrated, looking for something new? Are you looking for more? Nurses, are you ready to feel the sun? You will dream big and expand your consciousness as an entrepreneur. Your nursing license is your key to freedom. Join the Nurse Shark Academy at the nursesharkacademy.biz today. Thank you for listening to the Nurse Shark Academy show wherever you get your podcasts or watching us on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll know when all of our episodes come out. If you want further information, you can contact us on the NurseSharkAcademy.biz.